A myth is a way of making sense in a senseless world. Myths are narrative patterns that give significance to your existence. For any wellness action plan to work, there must be a clear understanding of the various aspects involved. Then the pieces of the puzzle must be identified before steps can be taken to piece them back together. This all begins with clearing up the myths and setting forth the facts of the situation. And this video aims to do just that. Myths in healthcare take shape and indeed take on a life of their own when a soundbite or piece of information is spread and made public as fact. Without a context in which to understand something, any piece of content or information is meaningless. The line between fact and fiction is often thin. People form their beliefs on they think reasonable based on their education on a given topic, whether they gain that information from a friend or a doctor, read in a magazine or online, or saw and heard it on the news. Mainstream media and so also other platforms should watch out for the misinformation about pandemic and fake treatments, because misleading the public can lead to serious consequences, even deaths. There has been a proliferation of misinformation about the current pandemic around the world, especially about possible cures. What we are seeing in our country and elsewhere is really a massive, unprecedented wave of misinformation. You get misinformation when there is no information. False news can cause panic. People go unnecessarily to the hospital or clinic when the best thing to do is to stay home if you are healthy. When it comes to disease and conditions, the symptoms and pain can wreak havoc on a life. If left unchecked, the quality of life of the one suffering can be destroyed, as well as the life of close to them. If you are a person suffering from extreme condition, you know how difficult it can be to maintain your quality of life, your daily routines, your cheery disposition and positive outlook regarding your disease and your life. When a patient goes to see a physician, he or she believes they are receiving prescription for the best drug or treatment available for the specific ailment. Not likely. Just as obese consumers represent the target market to the food companies, physicians represent the target market to the medical and pharmaceutical companies. The patient mostly receives the drug or treatment that is most profitable for the supplier of the treatment, the health insurance company, and in some cases even the individual physician. This may or may not represent the best medical treatment available. Medical technology and pharmaceuticals change so fast today that what physicians learn in medical schools is often obsolete by the time they graduate. In practice, doctors learn about new drugs and treatments from a special type of salesperson called a detail person in the medical industry. Now, this detail person is actually an educated, fluent speaking, attractive, and highly paid young person who lavishly hands out free samples and handsomely rewards physicians and their staff in proportion to the amount of prescriptions they write for the company's product. Pharmaceutical companies spend a considerable amount marketing the drug than they do on research and development. There are many obstacles facing the physicians today. The new science of medicine and health is advancing so fast that it is very difficult for anybody to begin to take on a whole new way of thinking in his or her medical practice. Doctors are treating all illnesses as if they were acute illnesses. Where are the doctors trained? Doctors are trained in hospitals. Now, who goes to the hospitals? Sick people go to the hospitals. In fact, these days, you have to be practically dying to get into a hospital. God forbid. But it is quite possible that one of your loved ones may have breathed last, but the body will be under artificial respiration just for financial gains. When physicians are trained in that environment, they are extremely skilled in dealing with emergencies of acute illness, the end stage of acute illness. They are not trained to deal with the early stage of illness or chronic illness. The global burden of chronic diseases is not being addressed by the medical schools. Medicine has changed. It pressures physicians. It makes them unhappy. It prevents them from keeping up with the literature because they are stuck in this cycle of patients, stress, and discontent. Doctors always want to do the right thing, but they may not be giving you the optimal treatment. See, your primary resource should be a medical professional who has knowledge of your medical history, current physical condition, list of medications, access to tests, and who has examined you. So please read the disclaimers before proceeding further or acting on the information given. See, human subconscious mind is very much susceptible to change and works immediately if suggestions are given to it are in tune with its own internal beliefs. It is sincerely hoped that by understanding few of the myths, you will be benefited immensely by finding a more positive view of the individual health condition. While there are many myths, here is a list of the top 10. Myth number 1: drugs cure disease. Pharmaceuticals are the answer to my optimal health strategies. Myth number 2: if you have a diagnosis, you know what is wrong with you. Myth number 3: getting older means aging and suffering. Myth number 4: that is various myths on cardiovascular disease. Myth 5: genes determine our fate. Myth 6: eating fat makes you fat. Myth 7: arthritis is a normal part of aging and only affects the elderly. Myth 8: arthritis cannot be reversed and will ultimately lead to disability. Myth 9: I feel healthy. It will not happen to me. I am too young to worry about my health right now. Myth 10: you can get all the vitamins and minerals from food. Supplements and antioxidants do not make much of a difference. See, there is a wonderful book called Why Zebras Don't Get Ulcers by Robert Sapolsky, a professor at Stanford. He said that zebras do not get ulcers because their stress is very short-lived. They are chewing their grass, they are eating away, and then All of a sudden, the lion comes and they all take off and run. Then one of the zebras gets caught. The lion is eating. Everybody stops. And the zebras go back to eating their grass. They have an acute stress. They run and they stop. The problem with us is we are stressed all the time and we do not stop. We just keep going and running, and our bodies do not have a time to rest, repair, and heal. Experts warn that the relationship between the virus and our mental health problems are bidirectional. That is, such illnesses are not merely consequences of the pandemic, but an inability to deal with them, which can lead to the spread of the infection. Why not give your body what it needs to overcome health challenges, protect and repair itself, just like Mother Nature intended since the dawn of the man? Healthcare is always changing. Past changes have been driven by science, innovation, and technology. Today's changes are mainly economic. Healthcare costs too much for too long. If you wish to add life to your years and not merely drag your life for the remaining span in this planet, contact me at any of the challenge given in the description box. See you soon with yet another episode of Wellness Talks. Until then, stay healthy and God bless.